when I arrived, the bike was done. I just changed the color of the bike, not more than that. But the good thing is that the Piaggio group that own Aprilia Racing follow me in all my requests to invest, get people. So I start getting people from Formula One. And I start to work a lot with the university, because in Italy we have a very good university for motorsport engineering. And then we start, let's say, changing the rules internally, and believing in that we could come back to a more successful future, since Aprilia Racing won 54 titles in history. So let's say in Noale there is a super culture of how to make the bikes, and the racing bikes in particular.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome back to We'll Talk with Raz. In this episode, we have a special guest. If you see him on the streets with his more than 6 foot frame and his long Goldilocks hair, you would think that he's a Giorgio Armani model. Okay, if it was not for him, I would probably be the best looking team principal in the paddock. But unfortunately, he is number one in that area, that he is the most good looking team principal in the paddock. Okay, a man who has successfully navigated two of the most competitive racing disciplines in the world of Formula One and MotoGP. Okay, and today we welcome our guest, our special guest, Massimo Rivola. How are you, Massimo?
Ciao, very good, and you?
Very good, very good. I mean, I'm sure this is a very unique situation.
Unusual,
for sure. But I wanted to start off with an easy conversation. But after yesterday, must be difficult for you and for the satellite team Trackhouse as well.
Yeah, tough moments make people stronger, no?
Yeah.
And like in Batman, in the movie, it's not the way you fall, it's the way you stand up that makes you stronger. So, yeah, very difficult, honestly, with both Jorge and Raul. In particular for Jorge, because he just had a touch of the bike in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And he moved just to the 25, and at the first corner he crashed on turn 1. He came back, and then he came back out, and the first lap again, second corner he crashed again. We checked everything he did and we did if there was a problem from our side, but the answer is no. So there's no blame for the rider. It's not that he wanted to show that he's the world champion. There's no blame from our side, also according to the data. So we are obviously quite disappointed for what happened.
Yeah, I guess he's young, over enthusiastic, maybe to some extent.
No, it's I would say that was could be one of the issue maybe before starting, but now you see, very well that we see really what the rider is doing when he's riding on his bike. We can see if he's pushing, we can see if he's overriding, and he was just cruising. So this makes the story even more, in a way, disappointing.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it does happen, correct?
It happened. It happened already. I would say this is a track also where there are some specification of tires that are not clearly the right one to use. But when you have an allocation of good tires that is very small for 3 days, at the beginning you get rid of the worst one that that are not for performance and not so just to get to scrap the feeling of the rider after 2 months that they didn't ride. So
so now it's a rush to recovery for him to at least be back in round 1 soon.
Today he will be released by the hospital here. It's very close to the track. And he will fly back to Barcelona and get the surgery on both his right hand and left foot.
Right hand.
Right hand, yeah, the one of the gas, the throttle.
Oh dear. Well,
We saw Jorge in the past coming back always stronger and stronger.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm super convinced that he will do the same.
Yeah.
The real problem is that he did no laps with the bikes that doesn't know. So the scenario is likely to be that he will face the first race
without any.
with any idea
Oh,
of
dear.
how the bike can behave. So we need to do a good job now with Bezzecchi and Ogura.
Yeah.
To prepare.
Well, before we talk about the remaining of your riders, I mean, for the sake of our guests, our audience, especially Malaysian fans, I mean, we want to know who is Massimo Rivola. Okay, so you started off with in Formula One with Minardi.
I was born in Faenza 53 years ago. Faenza is a small city in Italy, in Romagna. That is the region of the engines, motorbikes, and riders. In my city, there was. Now there is Alfa Tauri, Toro Rosso was the name of the Formula One team. Once upon a time, it was Minardi F1 team.
Yes.
So I started with them after I finished my university. No, I started with Giancarlo Minardi itself.
Oh, okay.
Quite a good teacher for me.
Okay.
And then Postodor came, and after a few years, Red Bull came and bought the Minardi team, and we became Toro Rosso, so the junior team of Red Bull Racing. So I spent 11 years, 6 in Minardi and 5 in Toro Rosso. We won in Monza, if you remember, with Sebastian Vettel. Yes. And then at the time, Stefano Domenicali, that was the sporting director, so he had my same role in Ferrari.
Right.
He told me, I will replace Jean Todt next year, so I would like you to replace me. And I said, wow, that's my dream.
Huge promotion.
Yeah, big emotion. I went to Ferrari from 2009, and I spent there 10 years. For 7 years, I was sporting director. And the last 3 years, I enjoy a lot getting the academy, the Ferrari Driver Academy. And I was quite lucky because I got Charles Leclerc, Antonio Fuoco, many good drivers that now are more famous.
So before we talk about your role as in academy, was there a year that you were involved when our Malaysian driver was in the team?
I was there with Alex Young, absolutely. Alex, actually Minardi at that time with Postodor, we were sponsored by Kuala Lumpur. We had on the side boards Go KL.
Go KL, yes,
Go KL.
Correct.
Yeah, it was quite nice. And we started, was it 2002? I think Alex did some on 2001, at the end of 2001.
He didn't finish the season, no?
No, well, I think it was sort of half season in 2001, and the teammate was Fernando Alonso.
Also, yeah.
And he did 2002, where the teammate was Mark Webber. So he always got super teammates, to be honest. But I think it was a nice experience. I started getting the Malaysian touch, many years ago,
If you can remember, it must be a very difficult time for Alex, whether he was put in too early, not ready.
To be honest, Minardi was not a top team at all. Our mission was to survive, to be honest, to be part of the Formula One. So he had quite a difficult car to drive.
Right.
And when you have a teammate like Alonso on your side, it's difficult to compare yourself as a rookie coming to a team where you have someone that has clearly something special.
That is quite an enlightenment, because poor Alex Young, when he was there's a lot of perception that, he's not ready. But coming from you, who was involved, like you said, the team is not great, very difficult to drive. But then
the budget of the Minardi team at the time was really poor compared to the other teams. So in a way, I think as a team in general, we did miracles to stay alive and to perform. Because sometimes Fernando managed to beat drivers with good cars.
Or beat drivers with 3 wheels.
Quite surprisingly, honestly. So clearly in front of us, we had a guy that was young, but was clearly a future champion. That was Alonso. But also the 2002, Mark Webber at his first race. In fact, the first race of 2002 was in Malaysia. In Australia, in Melbourne, and Mark finished P5 and Alex P7. But at the time, the points were given only to the first 6.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't get the point, but P7 now is a good.
Correct.
It's a good result. But maybe also was not lucky to get.
Wow, I think all of the Malaysians, including me, forgot about that result. Where he was 7th. Yeah. Okay, so you transitioned from Formula One to MotoGP. How did that happen?
Sliding doors in life. First of all, I've been always a motorsport fan and a rider, an amateur also for racetracks.
It's always like that.
Race days. I love the bike, and my first bike was an Aprilia. So when things change in life. Moreover, at the time, I think I was in Fiorano. And with me was Giancarlo Minardi itself, because when I was leading the academy, I asked the suggestion to Giancarlo Minardi that was quite a good talent scout. And I was testing a few kids of Formula 4. That is the first Formula you start with. And I received a call. I normally don't answer to unknown numbers that I don't have recorded. And I did, and it was Mr. Colanino. Asked him to meet him, and I was going to tell him, this is Mr. Colanino. Okay, I'm Superman. I thought it was a sort of joke, but it was not. So I met Mr. Colanino and the son that now is the CEO, and they show me the scenario. I remember that I came back home and I said to my wife, I think we have a problem, because this is something that I would like to do it really. At the same time, Charles Leclerc was going to be promoting Formula One. And for me, it was a sort of mission accomplished, because when I started in Ferrari, was 2009. The first driver that I signed a contract with was Jules Bianchi. And with Jules, we had growth. He won in the minor formulas. When we reached Formula One with minor F1, we were pushing, the dream was the target was to get a seat in Ferrari Formula One. But in Suzuka 2014, he had a terrible crash with the crane, and the following year he passed away.
Yeah.
So when Jules, why I tell you about Jules? Because when Jules was coming to Ferrari, sometimes, okay, let's do cycling, let's do soccer, he was super energy guy. And I said to Jules, what do you do this weekend? This weekend I go to see the race of my good friend. And who's that? He's a kid, his name is Charles. And I do the mechanic for him. Really? You should see him. He's a phenomenon. And that kid was Charles Leclerc.
Wow.
So when Jules passed away, and I've got the car, and I still have the number of Jules because we choose the 17 together. The mission was to do with his kid mate to achieve what we didn't achieve with Jules. So when Charles made it, I also felt, okay, my mission is done.
Right.
And by coincidence, I had the opportunity to become the CEO of Aprilia Racing, and I say, you know what, I do it.
If you didn't take up that job, would you be following him to the Ferrari team, or you still remain in a?
No, who knows? I don't know, but I have quite a nice time during the academy time. But at the same time, I spent already 7 years in F1 team. So maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know.
So this is a great challenge.
There is also another point that I wanted to have the lead of a project.
Right.
So even if the academy was small, I was leading that. After 12 years of being a sporting director in different teams, I want to do every step.
So then you went to MotoGP in 2019. That's basically the same year that we also went into MotoGP. And you had a tough time first couple of years, of course.
Wow. No? First of all, when I arrived, the bike was done. I just changed the color of the bike, not more than that. But the good thing is that the Piaggio group that own Aprilia Racing followed me in all my requests to invest, get people. So I start getting people from Formula One. And I start to work a lot with the university, because in Italy we have a very good university for motorsport engineering. And then we start, let's say, changing the rules internally, and believing in that we could come back to a more successful future, since Aprilia Racing won 54 titles in history. So let's say in Noale there is a super culture of how to make the bikes, and the racing bike in particular.
I can remember that nobody really wants to ride your bike. I mean, you came to see me, or we saw each other in 2020 during COVID, I think, in Doha, and then we talked about it. And to be honest, I was being very polite.
Yeah.
But the Aprilia bike was okay. It was terrible because of the results. Okay.
Yeah. True.
But you have brought in, like you say, the culture of working style from Formula One to MotoGP. You brought all the people from Formula One.
I just brought few people. And
but enough to transform Aprilia to where it is now.
No, but don't make me wrong.
Yeah.
The culture and the people of Noale were already good.
Right.
But when you feel you don't have resources, when you feel you see yourself at the bottom, it's difficult to believe that you can make a step. So you need the support of the group.
So if you can identify, what's the single most change that you did that transform or turn around Aprilia? Besides your arrival, of course.
It's never one change.
Right.
It's never one person. It's always the company. It's always the team. It's always the group. And the more you push the people with the culture that we have in Noale, the more you can achieve. So obviously now the team is big, almost double of what it was. We became a factory team.
So
we got more and more support from Piaggio. We got sponsors. We start getting sponsors. And let's say, first of all, I think the big change that was done was getting the credibility in the paddock and also inside the paddock. My first approach in Noale was quite tough. Guys, I'm not here to be part of MotoGP. I don't care about that. I'm here because I want Aprilia to go to the top. So that was a nice challenge.
First few times I met you when we were discussing about having the first satellite team for you guys. I mean, I saw little details of what I believe that you brought over from your start from Formula One to MotoGP. And to be honest, I copied some of that. Simple stuff in terms of putting notes, diaries, and all that. I saw what you were doing. So I think
but at the end, details make the difference everywhere. But you need to push the culture of working on details. Obviously, if you work on details where the macro problems are not sorted, it's wrong. Obviously, you need to start from the macro problems and then go to the micro problems. But it's part of really, and also to think maybe twice about a solution, spending more time before realizing something, and letting the people speak to each other the most.
You transform into a full-fledged factory team away from Gresini.
Yeah.
Tell us, why didn't Fausto then, the late Fausto Gresini, become your first satellite team?
Unfortunately, Fausto passed away just the year before because of the COVID.
Yeah.
Because 2020 there was the COVID, and we actually, from the technical side, we stopped a lot. So the crisis was quite an impact. Had quite an impact on art in our development. And when you are rushing behind, you don't need that. But unfortunately, Fausto passed away, and Gresini family decided to move to the bike that was getting to be the best.
Right.
Was Ducati. So I understand them.
So you accepted the fact because of the current situation. Then
even if I think from that point of view, if you think that then you have a championship with 2 bikes, it was Yamaha, and 8 bikes Ducati. It was not simply right. For a simple reason, by statistic, but moreover data. Because what you get track time is the one that you get the most, where you get the most development of the performance. Like testing is super important now. Not having Horgen is a big damage. If you have 4 times the resources of the others, is a huge advantage.
That's where having a satellite team is important, but at the same time you need to optimize the relationship with the satellite team.
Absolutely.
Are you guys still learning to optimize having a satellite team?
This year is the first year where we start with the full factory bike for everybody.
Nice.
From day one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, day one we lost half of the power.
Yeah.
So I can guess, unfortunately, a very hard start of the season. But as we said at the beginning, I'm sure we will become stronger than ever.
Yeah. Rider's choice is something that I like to discuss a little bit. I mean, for sure, having Jorge Martin is a fantastic thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. But then you have another rider with Bezzecchi who is not familiar with your bike. And Elish, your El Capitan, then, he was still competitive.
He's still competitive. We saw he's also in the test with Honda. He came and he did 58.2, something like that. It was super fast. But he decided to retire.
So he decided to retire, not because anything else.
He decided to retire. And as soon as he decided to announce his retirement, his performance last year dropped. I think because, you can give 100% of yourself, but if mentally you are not... If you feel
motivation is no longer...
Yeah, exactly. You feel a bit empty, you do the maximum of something that you have less at the end. So I think he was fast in the last races, because in the last race in Barcelona, because that is his home track.
Yeah.
And he wanted to live in a way, in front of his people the best he could. And he was, again, super fast.
Yeah.
So the good thing is that we think the potential of the bike is there. If you think about on 20 races, Last year, 14 times an Aprilia was on the first row. This is something that is not, you don't feel that was like that. But, one thing is the race, one thing is the pure performance on a single lap.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of times the Aprilias are in the front during qualifying, but during the race, something seems to drop off.
Yeah, for sure, starts were not the best, our best characteristic. And also, I would say that in the race pace, Ducati did something, was better than anyone else. And with 8 Ducatis, it was likely that being in the top 10, you need to fight quite a lot with also one of those.
So now Aprilia is a team or a bike that young riders, I mean, now if you offer to young riders, they will want to jump to the team.
The good feedback is Ayogura.
Yes.
Ayogura was, I cannot say surprisingly fast, but was immediately fast during the shakedown. It means that the bike is becoming more user-friendly in a way. And this is quite good because it's the first time that we have a rookie riding an Aprilia. And seeing so fast straight away, it's a very good sign that we are going to the right direction.
Yeah, we had him as a guest the other day, and I did ask him that it's unusual for a Japanese rider to ride on a non-Japanese bike.
Yeah.
We always said that it's always a transition that we expect you to go on a Honda. Why? And he was very blunt. He said that because Aprilia is better. Aprilia in terms of results is better. So I want to be on a better bike. Yeah. And when we ask him about what is it like to be on Barcelona is one thing. The shakedown, I mean, he said it's so nice to ride. It's easy. I think we also remember we said that your bike is like in between of a Yamaha type.
Yeah. That was our goal,
Ducati,
to make a Yamaha
hybrid
before. Yeah. I saw riding on the track. I like to go on track with a scooter and see what they are doing. And it's super smooth with the bike. It's super clean, and that matched quite a lot the characteristic of our bike. So I think during the season we could have some good surprises from him.
I know that the decision for riders is, I mean, based from what I know before, is a decision between both the factory and the satellite team, Trackhouse in that sense. How did you come up with the idea of choosing Ogura? Because at that time he was leading the championship in Moto2, but again, even for you guys, it's unlikely to get an Asian rider.
It's good. Yeah. To be honest, now the choice of the riders on the satellite team is fully on track outside. So it was a choice of Davide first.
Right.
Obviously, like you and me, also with Davide, we speak a lot.
Yeah.
And I was one of those riders. We were straight from the beginning when he jumped into Moto2. We were saying, "Oh, this guy is fast. He rides the Moto2 already like he should ride the MotoGP." So, and we were convinced it was good. We have Matteo Baiocco that was convinced about that. Yeah. Obviously, it was interesting to see that the choice of Davide was also that one, and it was quite rewarding to see him winning the World Champion. So. And for sure there is a lot of talent there.
Yeah. And with Bez, it's more because of what he has done and also being Italian.
For sure, being Italian is something that for an Italian brand is something an additional value.
Yeah.
But following the career of Marco, honestly, I was really impressed about what he did in 2023, winning racing by distance on the wet in Argentina. And more interesting, when we went to India, India was the first track that nobody knew.
Yes.
So in a sort of way, everybody started from the scratch paper, And he won.
And difficult conditions as well.
And difficult conditions. He won by far. I mean.
Yeah.
So again, the speed is there. There's something rather. When I see that kind of talent, I like to work
but
with
then
them.
24
was quite, in a way, bad for him.
Yeah. But you believe in that?
I believe in Marco, absolutely. As a company, as a factory team, when there is something that a rider doesn't like, and in 2024 he didn't like the rear tire when they changed, Michelin changed the tire, maybe compared to a satellite team, we have more resources to try to solve the problem. Maybe at the end it doesn't happen, but we have more things to try, more power to change a swinging arm or a chassis, or we have more people as a structure, so it's more likely that we can solve the problem.
So then comes back to your experience when you were with the Ferrari Academy. Do you apply the same kind of principles in choosing the rider in MotoGP? Are they the same?
No.
It's different? No.
Now I try to get just the best. In the academy, I try to choose very young kids almost, because I was also checking in karting.
Right.
One of the first I wanted to get was Andrea Kimi Antonelli, that now we got Mercedes. Yeah. And at the time he was 9 years old, 10 years old, something like that.
Okay.
So it's a different.
Okay.
But also when you invest in young riders, you need to be in a position to support them, moving to the best possible team with the best people, to give him more information and to show his talent. And that's expensive. In 4 wheels,
a lot
2
more
wheels
work.
is expensive, but 4 wheels is crazy expensive.
When you said about having the same mindset or same decision in choosing the rider, we nearly did the same. Well, with Raul, I know. Right. But touching a little bit about Raul, I mean, to be honest, personally, I would expect him to do better.
Yeah.
But we know what he's like. He needs to be guided properly. But in 2023, towards the end, he was doing.
At the end, he was doing good. He finished before in Valencia.
Yeah.
I think in his career, he was super fast in Moto3, but physically he was already a bit too big.
Too big, yeah.
When he was in Moto2, he was, smashing the championship. In a way, it was kind of, wow, who's this guy?
Yeah, correct.
Super fast.
I know you offered him a factory ride already, right?
Yeah, straight away. But at the time, were not
complication.
Honestly, I also expected more. But this is the first year, and I'm super sorry for him for his crash. Bad crash, actually, in turn 9. And again, was not his fault. When you crash at 20 degrees, braking is not the rider fault, and neither the bike fault. By the way, I'm quite convinced that this year he can make the step. I have the feeling that we have a better bike than last year. I have the feeling that we have an easier bike than last year. And I think with his characteristic of carrying a lot of speed on a corner, I think he will.
Well, this is his third year. We expect.
Yeah.
Definitely expect more.
Yeah.
Correct.
He needs to deliver, to be honest. Because they have the same official kit of us.
Talking about your former rider, Aleix, no plans then to get him as a test rider?
Not really. I knew everybody knows his passion for the bike, cycling.
Yeah.
He got a contract. I spoke to him a few days ago, and he said, now I'm pushing with I'm cycling a lot, 3,000 kilometers per month. And I said, wow, that's professional.
Yeah.
So I knew that was his priority. And I knew that also he wanted to get a different challenge with the Honda, getting a good salary. we need to put the resources where the priority are. At the moment, we are happy with Sava, so
yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, that in terms of the factory team, in terms of budget, you still are not compared to the big boys.
Yeah.
Not to say the lowest,
that's fine. But honestly, I think we have everything to win. We have the world champion. We have a bike that is competitive. We have test benches in Noale that I think nobody else has. We have a super culture of chassis, and then aerodynamic side, I think we are almost the reference. So we have everything.
Of course, talking about the future is always, you want the best riders. If you can't get the best current MotoGP riders, you want to get the best from the Moto2, for example. So you have seen Yamaha with Pramac, with Moto2. You have seen KTM, who also has a Moto3, Moto2 team. Yeah. Well, Ducati is different because, at the moment they don't need to have that because of their bikes.
More bikes.
Yeah, because then they can approach anybody, and these guys will, without thinking, would just say yes to get on a Ducati bike. I can remember last time we had plans to work with a Moto2 team. Is that something that's still being developed?
Something that I would love to do. Is not priority one.
Right.
It would be nice that, for example, Trackhouse make a team like a Pramac did a double team. Because I think that the road to MotoGP from the minor, let's say, bikes, then you move to Moto2, satellite team, and then factory team. That would be the good road to MotoGP. But again, priority and one thing at a time.
Yeah. Let's talk about the business side of MotoGP. With the impending closure of Liberty Media, I think you were a little bit vocal about that, in the sense that we hope they can contribute and do better with MotoGP. What are you hopeful for them?
I think that Dorna did a fantastic job till now to make a show. The show is something really, so from let's say the regulation to deliver that kind of show, I think they did great.
Yeah.
What we need now is to sell the show, and I don't think we are investing much to sell the show. If we see Formula One at FOM time of Bernie and the current one with Liberty, the media impact it's 10 times. You don't go to see the race when you go to Formula One. You go to attend an event,
just to be there,
to see celebrities, to make a selfie with someone, to see the story. And this need to be built from the paddock itself, with the help of the drivers and the riders, with the help of the top management. But now people use a lot the phones, and we need to use that tool. Netflix was something super good for Formula One, but when we did the one on Amazon,
MotoGP Unlimited, it did not.
No, it did not break the TV. So we need the help of everybody, not just Liberty or Dorna to make the job, but we need a bit more, also from our side, to use more what can penetrate the fans.
Well, unfortunately, when the new CCO came on board and gave his first presentation, remember, in Assen, his first comment, his first statement was, "We will never do a Netflix." Remember that? So that was that was worrying. So we hope that Liberty Media, as an entertainment company, can do something.
Yeah, I think that the Formula One was able to make drivers heroes.
Yeah.
I think here in MotoGP we have heroes.
Yes, correct.
But not so respected as they are, because when you see them on track on live, everybody that come to the paddock and then manage to see them and say, "Wow!" They they
goosebumps, yeah.
Wow. And they feel the emotion. They see what they do on the bike on track. It's something that needs to be rewarded in a way.
Yeah, you get to see the riders' emotions much more than the Formula One drivers, because we come in and out of the pits.
I don't want to say that we should do a copy and paste, because we have a different culture. We come from a different passion. But there are good things that Liberty did.
Of course, this relates to the ability to get sponsors. I know that we were trying to help everybody to get sponsorship, because if the sports in general is big, the domino effect is to the teams.
But one of the main point is to make MotoGP aspirational. A kid needs to dream to be like a MotoGP. When you go into the garage of MotoGP, it should be like here in Malaysia. We have huge garages. We get a super good image. So if you invite people, they leave something, they can touch something special. But if the same treatment is for Moto2 and Moto3, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So don't make me wrong, but they should, Moto2 and Moto3 should be the way to promote us.
Yeah.
And not on the same level.
You're a guy who loves challenges. So you've been in Aprilia, from 2019.
Yeah, 6 years now.
6 years. If you were given the opportunity to become the new CEO for MotoGP,
I think I have a challenge now with Aprilia. That is my priority.
Would you say yes or no? Would you take it? It's a new challenge. No comment?
No, priority one is to deliver here.
Yeah.
And then we will see. Let's do it like that. Obviously.
Of course, to be world champion.
Exactly. Obviously, everybody knows that I went to Ferrari because of Stefano Domenicali. That was my boss. And I worked with him, and I respect him, and I feel him as more than a friend. Even we call him sort of brothers, I'm the younger. But I'm really committed and focused here in Aprilia.
Okay. Last but not least, you're also a big football player.
Together.
Yeah. The last I count that we won more than you guys, I think. So who's your favorite team? Milan?
No, I don't have a favorite team. No. Now I don't even follow much soccer.
Still playing though?
I play only when there is this kind of opportunity. I love to play tennis, especially now with the Italians so good in tennis. I love motorsport in general, so when I have the chance, I ride the bike. But yeah, we don't have a favorite team.
No. Massimo, it's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for your time. We wish you all the best, especially good recovery for Jorge. And of course, from very beginning, I'll be rooting for you. Okay, although I never had a Aprilia bike until only recently, so let's see. There you guys, thank you very much for watching us. Such a pleasure having Massimo as our guest. And do keep on watching our podcast.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nak dapatkan harga diskaun untuk tiket MotoGP Malaysia pada Oktober ini, jom saya tunjukkan cara mudah untuk mendapatkan harga tersebut. Mudah sahaja, hanya dengan menonton podcast Wheel Talk dan gunakan kod yang tertera di skrin anda untuk mendapatkan diskaun sehingga 20% pada pembelian tiket. MotoGP merupakan antara pengalaman yang tidak patut dilepaskan. Promo ini adalah eksklusif dan terhad. Ianya hanya dibuka selama 3 hari pada setiap video. Jadi, tunggu apa lagi? Dah beli tiket? Jumpa anda di Sepang.